Hey, Merry Christmas Eve, right? Today's the 23rd, tomorrow's the 24th. Saturday is when Santa comes. Stick here and let's talk about San Francisco at Tennessee. I'm just like Santa, trust me. Hello, and we are back. Thanks for being here. Once again, I'm Chris Robin, aka at Detroit Beastie, here with Team Riser Fall to talk about Thursday Night Football. San Francisco travels to Nashville, Tennessee, to take on the Titans. Can you believe it? We made it. We had no football yesterday, and we're here. Everything's fine. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days, whatever the heck that theme is. But all jokes aside, this one's going to be outstanding. And before we dig into it, just make sure you go to Team Riser Fall, like, share, subscribe, and look at the graphics. We're 2 days away from Christmas. I mean, can you believe how fast this has come? But if you use promo code NBA, you'll get 33% off your first month of premium services here. And Fantasy Cruncher, have you heard of them? Partners here, I believe, and you get $20 that rolls over month to month. One of the best, if not the best optimizers on earth at this moment in time. So let's talk about the game, shall we? I'm going to keep it short and sweet here. 5, maybe 6 minutes, and I'll get you the heck out of here because I know it's one of you, probably you watching right now, you haven't even started your Christmas shopping. So I think now is the time, right? And look, I haven't started mine either. So it comes from a place of deflection here. I got to go shopping when I'm done here talking to you. But hey, it is what it is. We're going to brave the lines, or we're going to do all that for our loved ones to buy gifts and whatever you need. To be fair, I got to buy so much stuff for Beastie. But again, I do that every Friday. So literally every Friday is Christmas for Beastie. Let's talk about the football game here. As I said, San Francisco travels to Tennessee. As it stands right now, the over-under is at about 44.5. I think it opened at 44, so it was just bumped up a half a point. Nothing crazy there. And when you look at it, San Francisco in the NFC West with the Rams, with Rams and who else? Oh, Seattle and Arizona. And Arizona is kind of on a little losing streak here, having lost 2 straight, one against my Detroit Lions on Sunday, yet another dig here, and we'll move on. Tennessee, right now at this moment in time, they're in first place in the AFC South. Not really a tough division at this moment in time with Jacksonville and Houston here, but they are 1 game ahead of Indianapolis, I believe. So being 9-5 in first, they got to have this one. Actually, at any team that's playing right now that's currently on the bubble or locked in, you got to win right now, or else you're going to be leapfrogged and so on and so forth here. But when we talk about this one, I have some moves to make here in my notes, per usual, which I'll share. Hopefully you're paying attention, because at the top right, I do a couple bullet points as I'm getting through the price tags and projections here, and I just look at it from like a 10,000 foot view, and I go, I don't even realize player names. I go, oh, well, this DVP matchup is sweet, or this personnel group is sweet, and that's how I do that. Again, it's just off from my gut. It's bullet points here, and then that's when I dig in and I do prices and projections, and then I paint a smaller picture. It's more unique in a way here. So to me, right off the bat, I want all of the San Francisco 49ers wide receivers. I love the Tennessee wide receivers. Looks like A.J. Brown is going to play. Hallelujah. Little late for me, but hey, DFS formats, good to go. And the Tennessee running backs, and I'll tell you which one I want here, because it's Hilliard, it's Foreman, it's Jeremy McNichols here, but promise I'll get to it. Let's talk about the quarterbacks. Jimmy G, San Francisco's at Tennessee. Tennessee, 25th overall against opposing quarterbacks here. Very good plus green matchup here. Now, I've mentioned Jimmy Garoppolo in bottom of the barrel. I believe this will be the 4th week in a row. And I've said, I've told anybody that will listen, when DFS players are recommending Jimmy G, he must be doing something right, because he's just a ho-hum kind of guy. I mean, he gets wins and the team is in a good spot. But when we can plug Jimmy G in our seasonal fantasy football formats and our DFS formats, something's going well here. Jimmy G, $14,000 on FanDuel, $10,400 on DraftKings, and in the DraftKings captain spot, $15,600 here. I have Jimmy G, a nice little night here, 20 completions, 240, 250 yards yards. And again, with my projections, I try and make those the floor here, right? So we can build off that 240, 250 if need be. Well, I won't. Jimmy G will build on that one. And I have a feeling we're in for like a 2-3 touchdown kind of a throwing night from Jimmy G here. So we shall see. Let's talk about Tannehill. Now, if you look at the Tennessee Titans, they were hot, right? They started off kind of not good, if I remember correctly, and they just won a whole bunch of games right in the middle of the season, and now they've lost 4 out of their last 5 games, so they're kind of sliding here. Thank gosh they're at home at least. Ryan Tannehill, $15,000 on FanDuel, $10,000 on DraftKings. If you want him in the captain spot, it'll cost you $15,000. And oh, by the way, San Francisco 22nd overall against opposing quarterbacks here. Now, when we talk about the running backs here, I'm going to just breeze through these here because it's all about Jeff Wilson Jr. and Donta Foreman to me. On FanDuel, Jeff Wilson Jr., $11,000. On DraftKings, $5,200, but Tennessee, their first overall against opposing running backs here. So Jeff Wilson, will it be tough sledding? I don't know, but I'm here to say Jeff Wilson's going to get a whole heck of a lot of carries to try and figure this thing out. I have Wilson around 18-ish total carries. I wouldn't be shocked to see him get up over 20 here, the way I think this game is going to play out here. 75, maybe 80 yards. Wilson will find the end zone on the ground, couple receptions, 15, maybe 20 yards here. Kyle Juszczyk, congrats for making it to the Pro Bowl, but you're not going to make it into my DFS lines this week. And then JaMychal Hasty, can't even, maybe salary relief on DraftKings, $1,200. The running back position for the 49ers this season alone has kind of been just been moving. It's like a turnstile there, but I believe Jeff Wilson Jr. holds it down tonight. And when we talk about the Tennessee Titans now, again, Donta Foreman has been a bright spot the last few weeks here in seasonal formats and in DFS formats. Donta Foreman, $11,500 on FanDuel, $7,600 on DraftKings. Personally, Foreman is a lock. I'm going to have 100% exposure across the board in my DFS lines tonight, and I'm cool with that. I'm thinking 15, maybe 16 carries here, and before you go, well, what about Hilliard and McNichols? There'll be plenty to go around here early on, but as the second half kind of happens here, I think San Francisco kind of pulls away late in the third, early in the fourth quarter here, leaving a little bit of receiving work towards Hilliard and Jeremy McNichols here. Hilliard, I believe, $9,500 on FanDuel, $2,800 on DraftKings, and then McNichols, $8,000 on FanDuel, only $2,200 on DraftKings. Now, when we get to the wide receivers, that's the super juicy spot here. As you can see, a major hunk of my highlighted players are with the wide receivers here. It's all about Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk for me tonight, at least. Again, I could see a case here where Deebo is MVP and Ayuk is flex, and then we vice versa. Ayuk MVP and vice versa here. You know why? Tennessee 31st overall against opposing wide receivers here. Big night ahead for both of them, and in turn, Jimmy G. Hopefully you see what I'm building here. Deebo Samuel, $14,500 on FanDuel, $11,600 on DraftKings, $17,400 if you want him in the captain spot. Cost you a pretty penny, but I think it's going to be worth it. I'm looking at 6 targets, 6 carries, 4 receptions, about 45 yards on the ground, and about 60 yards in the air. So if you add that up, I have Deebo Samuel for about 100 total yards here this evening and a touchdown. How will it happen? Receiving, rushing, I don't know. Doesn't matter. Get Deebo Samuel in your lineup. Same thing with Ayuk. $10,000 on FanDuel, $8,000 on DraftKings, 7-8 targets, looking at 4, maybe 5 receptions here, 55, 60 yards. And what I love here is the way they're using Deebo Samuel, it's starting to kind of, spill over to Brandon Ayuk. I have Ayuk carrying the ball once, maybe twice, nothing crazy, 10, 15 yards here, but you never know. I also think Brandon Ayuk scores a touchdown here in this one. So if you're keeping track at home, Wilson with a touchdown, Samuel with a touchdown, Ayuk with a touchdown, and so far, so good. So far, Jimmy Garoppolo's got at least 1, maybe 2 touchdowns in this thing. But I want to talk about A.J. Brown briefly. He was my wide receiver, my dynasty wide receiver 1, heading into the season. It's been a tough go for him so far this year. Wish him the best. He's back tonight. They activated him from some sort of chest injury. Must not be that big of a deal anymore. So again, A.J. Brown, wish you the best. 12 grand on FanDuel, $8,800 on DraftKings. And Frisco, 21st overall against opposing wide receivers. So it's a plus matchup. It's a green matchup here. I have A.J. Brown just getting right back into things. 8 targets, 5, maybe 6 receptions, 80 yards, and a touchdown reception in this one. So far, so good. Wilson, Foreman, Debo, Brandon, and then you can kind of move it around here with those 4 players. Wilson, Foreman, Samuel, and Ayuk. I believe you have enough to get Kittle, and you have enough to kind of pivot to A.J. Brown here in this one, not to get ahead of myself. And when we get to Julio, not much to be done there. I don't think he's going to be active tonight. He hurt his hamstring yet again. No offense. I love Julio. He's one of my favorite players of all time. I know I've told you about the rookie patch auto card I have with him and AJ Green, but I think it's over for Julio, right? I mean, he a lot of fruitful seasons, a ton of records and yardage here, but Julio, I'm sorry to say, if you think I'm wrong, then you think I'm wrong, but Julio, that ship has sailed. So fate of Julio, he's not even going to play here. But I will say Nick Westbrook-Akine. He makes for an interesting kind of contrarian play in this one. Nick, $7,500 on FanDuel, $5,400, on DraftKings here. 5-6 targets, 3-4 receptions, and I think his floor tonight is about 40 yards if you want to add that in to your FanDuel or DraftKings sportsbook betting. His over-under yardage, I believe, is only at like 29 or something like that. So to me, Nick Westbrook, 40 to 50 yards in this one. When we talk about the tight ends, there's only one name in town, one game in town here. It's George Kittle. This guy's been on an absolute tear. He's 13 grand on FanDuel, $11,200 on DraftKings. Granted, Tennessee, they're 7th overall against opposing tight ends here, and that's because they have some really good coverage linebackers here, right? You can throw out the cornerbacks. A safety will come in, no worries here, but it's all about when you cover George Kittle, you need like 2 players here. You need a linebacker and maybe a safety. One of those smaller cornerbacks aren't going to get it done tackling Kittle in the open field. He'll just throw him over his back and boom, ride the cornerback to the end zone here. Jeff Swain, Anthony Fursker, nothing I want to touch here given, the wide receiver matchups and the running backs here. But that's about it. I do want to say 2 things briefly, some betting trends. You've also taken to at the bottom here, betting trends. It's simple stuff because I know I'm into it and a lot of you play DFS and it's only a natural progression to kind of hit the sports book a little bit before kickoff here. San Francisco, 5-1 against the spread their last 6 games. Tennessee, 1-4 against the spread their last 6 games here. So something's got to give, and we shall see. So let's run it down. This is the time. Scramble around, grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, and write this one down. Jeff Wilson, San Francisco's running back. Donta Hillard, Tennessee's running back. Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. Now, those 4 guys, you will have enough left to put in George Kittle, I believe, if you'd like. If not, you can pivot to A.J. Brown and or Nick Westbrook-Akine. Thank you for being here. And to be honest with you, this is the last time we'll see each other in terms of a DFS video until Christmas. I have something up my sleeve for both Christmas Day games. Thank you for being here. Support so far this season has been unbelievable. I can't even believe Christmas is 2 days away. I can't even believe week 16 kicks off today. So until we meet again on Christmas, get your shopping done, go from there, and we'll meet back again here Christmas morning to talk about football. What else could we do? Love it. See you later.